Hi, everyone. It's Margaret Manning here with 60 and Me. Thank you so much for being here. I do hope that you're doing great. It's a nice, bright, sunny day here, enjoying the warm weather and enjoying a nice cup of tea actually this morning. I've got my little box of happiness tea. I think I showed you. I got this this tea a while ago and it's in German, but there's a translation for the tea on the back, which I've discovered, which is this one I'm drinking is in the blue package and it says, something about go confidently and independently, get to know all your facets. And I think that means just get to know all the things that you can do well. It's a spiced black tea. And so here it is. Cheers to you. That you're doing great, that you're having a wonderful day wherever you are, and that you are just feeling strong and confident. We do things here on 60 and Me to help women transition from over their 50s into their 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. And it's a great time. It is a great time of life. It's complicated, it's confusing, and sometimes a bit stressful, but it's a good time. It's a good time to be assessing what you want to do with the next 40 years of your life. And I wanted to mention that our sponsor for today's show is International Living. Now, International Living is a company that basically helps people decide where they might want to retire overseas. They do a complete analysis of countries and cities all around the world, and they just actually come up with a report. It's called Affordable Getaways Around the World, and it's to help you test drive a trip overseas. So say, for example, you think you might want to live in Colombia or Ecuador or Portugal. They actually have people on the ground who are doing the analysis, and this report is free for you if you want to go up to 60andme.com, internationalliving.com/60andme. I did internationalliving.com/60andme. That's where you'll get the report. So thanks to International Living for sponsoring us. I've been referring to that company and their work for years, and I can endorse it. It's very, very useful information. So, topic today is all related to travel. I seem to have a connected thought here. I just got back from a trip to Portugal, to Porto, and it was just amazing. I loved it so much, and I actually did a video of my trip for our Patreon supporters. So maybe if you're interested in that, with 60 and Me, we put together exclusive videos for that Patreon group, and I shared my Porto trip. But I also wrote about it for you, 60 and Me, and it's amazing. To go to a new place and learn about the culture, learning about food, new ways of doing things. And even since it's still in Europe, I've really noticed so many quite subtle differences. Now, the article I wanted to chat with you about today is related to travel. Oh, by the way, I got this necklace there. Isn't that nice? They had turquoise everywhere. It was such a turquoisey place, turquoise and pinks and blues, sea colors. It was wonderful. But Anne-Marie Mersham is a blogger who loves to write about travel. And so I thought it was kind of useful to chat about that, since I personally believe it can really enrich the way that you see the world and the way that you interact with people, just having the exposure to new cultures. And so she lists 10 reasons, she says, why travel broadens the mind, and especially for boomers, women who are traveling like crazy. There's so many older women now on the road. I was very impressed and interested by that when I was traveling this time. But she said basically there's 10 things, and I don't know if we'll cover them all, but I'll do a few and see what you think. Now, travel is a great way of building friendships. This is the truth. When I was in Porto, I put on my Facebook group that I was there, and someone that I knew that I'd met in Bali, Rianne Scott is her name. She has a great blog called My Home on the Roam. She's an amazing lady. I met her in Bali, and there she was in Porto. So we got together at a coffee shop near the Lelo bookstore, which is this amazing bookstore in Porto, and had a coffee and chat, and it was wonderful. So friendships can be formed when you travel, not just because you're travelers, and that is in itself something that holds you together, but that you tend to get a woman and guys who are just open-minded, looking for new adventures, new experiences, and lots to talk about their travels. So friendship. That's a really big one. Sharing common experience is a huge plus. The next thing is it challenges you. Now, in Portugal, for example, English is spoken just about everywhere, so it's not really that much of a worry. But obrigado is thank you. I learned that. But, you don't have to know a lot. But it does push you a little outside your comfort zone. And when I was for example, when I went to India with a group, this is some years ago, my friend Kathleen was my roommate, and I still have stayed in touch with her. And we really were pushed to actually do things outside of our comfort zone, but we were together, and it really, really made a difference. So it's not just your visual senses, your physical, it's your spiritual, your emotional boundaries that you get to break. And, you have to ask for help sometimes. You have to ask questions, and those things push you sometimes. Expanding your knowledge, of course. When you're traveling, you're learning all the time. Even if I always go on the hop-on buses at the beginning of any new place, just so I can get a landscape. And of course, they always tell you every fact of the history of the place. And that is cool. That's wonderful too. But you come home with this curiosity, this desire to know more. And it's really, really wonderful. That's building your brains. That's good for you over 62. Another thing is to experience new cuisine. Pizza. I had pizza in Porto. I haven't had that for ages, but it was so good. And the food there, they have tapas meals, which are little snacky foods, and just beautiful foods. Also, unusual teas, and you just are your senses, your taste palette is pushed and enhanced. It's really cool. And of course, regional cuisine is unique even within a country. You can go from one place to the other. So anyway, cuisine. Learning about yourself. Now, I know Anne talks about this in a deeper way, and I think it's pushing how far you can go with your curiosity, with your openness. Where are you really with accepting other types of people? There's a whole different standard that you are exposed to when you travel. And, we're not always in the countries that are what we might consider, first world countries. The people are living on a lower budget. They've got different survival mechanisms, and it's really fascinating. That for me is one of the incredible things about traveling. Now, another thing that Anne talks about is visualizing the world through a new lens. And it's really interesting. It goes back with the third world, first world countries, is you get to see how creative people are, with their own, or even with the houses that they build or the ways that they do certain things. I mean, there's some extremes that we might not think are very, for us comfortable, but it's how they live, and we learn from that, and we learn from their lives. So I think each country is dealing with their reality. Now, one thing that I think goes along with that is another one of Anne's 10 things, and that is we learn about world politics. I know when I was in France with Road Scholar a few months ago, there's been every week in France recently demonstrations against the government. It's a interesting conversation, but they are, out there in the world, and you are there with them, and you're experiencing it. You're learning about their life, about the issues that are facing these countries. And I think that's one thing that International Living does a really good job with too, is, it's a real analysis. I mean, it's not, you can't just expect to go somewhere and it's going to be beautiful and perfect. They have challenges too. And then because of that, another thing Anne mentions is you get a better perspective on your place in the world. Where your decisions that are made in your country are affecting other places. And of course, you can spread the word about 60andMe. You can spread the word about what's important to you. People in other countries, when you travel, I have found personally, partly because I'm a chatter like Rianne is, we chat to everybody. We learn so much, and they want to learn about us. It's really true. And so I think that's, for me, one of the biggest, beautiful gifts of travel is that I get to share. And so that's drives me forward to the next place and the next place. And I spare every spare penny I have goes to saving for travel, honestly. And, I guess the final thing that Anne talks about is coming home. Coming home, you always appreciate it so much more when you get off that plane or that train or that ship and you are home. And that word is so evocative, so powerful. It's your family, it's your your grandchildren, it's your friends, it's people that make the place home. And so that's, I think, the final thing that travel does for you. It gives you a sense of the value of the home that you have. So I hope that you found this interesting. Where did you go on your last trip? Tell us a bit about your travel experiences. Would really like to know. And what different cultures did you explore? Did you fall in love with someone somewhere? What kind of adventure did you have? So leave your comments below. Please join us on our website, YouTube channel, wherever you can. Tell a friend about 60andMe, and please share the last place that you traveled. Tell us about your adventures. Thanks a lot for being here, everybody. I really hope that you're doing well, and we'll talk again soon. But bye-bye for now.